Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. Usually my next two moves are these right here, but I'm gonna decide to go with this right, and then I just take here. Or can I go with the? Yeah, try this. 안녕하세요. Oy. I go here. What? Okay, I put my pawn structure here. Control. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very, very good. Very good. Neo. Very, very neutral today on ES. Let me go take a look at. I don't want to trade away my last bishop, that's for sure. But just because I feel like you could. Go here, but he can just push a bitch pawn. So I feel like I would just be losing a tempo. I'll just go here. Okay, so he can just go here if I go here. And if I go here, he would just go here. Oh, I just take it. Oh, okay. Do I have a move? He missed that. You want to trade? Do you want to trade? That is my friend. You don't want to trade, okay, brother. Okay, brother. That's the answer to your question. To your question, I am going to go here now. We are going to trade. I kind of don't like. So go here. I said go here. I'm going to fortify my position. Fortify my position. Strengthen my position. Threaten his rook. We can trade. If we can trade, I actually do want to keep forcing trades though, to be honest, because I am technically winning. Thank you. Do I want to give him a check? I'll hold on to the check. Actually, I just take this. Oh, actually, I just take this. Yep. Correct move. Correct move. Attack that rook. All right. Transfer my unit of power onto this side. Give me a check. I can just slide. I could slide back or move here. Actually, I'm gonna go here. Transfer. Oh. Int. I'm just gonna safeguard my king. I'm gonna give him a check. Check. Take this. Threatening this pawn. Threatening this pawn. I go check. He has no other space with between. Yep. Check. That could work. I gotta be careful here because he's starting. Good thing I moved my. Dang, this check again. Now he can't move his. Go here, just slide up here. Slide up Peru. Slide up Peru. Give him another check. I'm going to check. Check. Brother, I'm just gonna go like that. To here. And to here. Oh wait, I'm about to run out of time. Wait. Why did I do that? Yeah, boy. All right. Going to the actual charts here now. Sorry for the wait. Today I don't necessarily do have a bias. We just had Thanksgiving break last Thursday, and coming into the next day, we have no news drivers. It's just the day after bank holiday. It's just better not do anything, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, let's see here. Did we retrace back into discount of this dealing range? We did indeed, with that displacement down for a little bit there. So now coming into this morning, I didn't have noticed that we've taken out Asia's lows and highs. We've yet to take out London highs, and we still have this high here. However, I do want to wait until and see how we close here on the 4-hour and the 8-hour candle closure to get a clear bias of what we should be looking for. As of right now, I wouldn't really push for higher or lower. I would just sit in the sidelines, to be honest, here today. But yeah, like I said, pretty neutral this upcoming week, or not upcoming week, but upcoming this day. We do have the monthly closing in about, I mean, it technically closes today because the start of December is on Sunday. Yeah. So I do want to see us kind of trade back inside this 0.2 to 0.3 price range here from this monthly candle. So we expanded, we retraced back inside discount, and we started to just push up, have a really slow push up. So yeah, I do want to see us close in between the 0.2 to 0.3 of the monthly dealing range or the monthly candle. And let's see what we have for next week, because I believe next week we do have a lot of, okay, so we have NFP next week, Fed Chairman Powell speaking, and so we have a lot of news next week. So today, yeah, like I said, I would just like to sit on the sidelines. There's really no need for you to be force anything. I feel like today is psychologically, I mean, it's a yesterday was a bank holiday. Lots of people are probably extremely excited or just eager to get into a move. And yeah, I mean, can't really anticipate much price movement with no news after a bank holiday. It's just, yeah. But if I were to, if I had to choose a side, I would wait first. I would wait for about another 8 minutes and 30 seconds or so, and see how we close on the 4-hour and 8-hour candle closure. Depending on how we close on those time frames will tell me the morning objective. What are we going to do currently, for the morning session, not the whole day, but the morning. And if we were to close right now on the 4-hour candle and the 8-hour candle at 10, I would like to see higher prices just based on how the candles are getting created, but that's not enough confluence yet. I would like to go into the lower time frames to kind of structure out some sort of setup for it, but here, like I said, I'm just gonna wait and see. But yeah, we do have SMTs here at the lows between NQ and ES. So here's NQ's low and ES low. So NQ, we made a lower low, while ES didn't make a lower low. We had SMT there, so that means that we could treat this as a reversal or like a strong point because there's SMT. But yeah, that's really all I have for right now. I'll have more information as more time passes by. But yeah, currently, I mean, we've been pretty consolidative these past few days. Like, you can tell from just looking at the hourly chart where, it's pretty back and forth price action. Here, just really, really sloppy. I want to say sloppy, but because I feel like there is a reason for this. I mean, we don't have much time left on the monthly candle, and it just consolidative, very slow PA. But yeah, that's all I have for right now. I do want to go over some pros and cons with you guys, improvements, and some of the trades I took on Wednesday. Wrong one. Trade here. Alright, here's the pros and cons. Well, actually, first, let me log into my account. Alright, here I am back. But yeah, pros and cons for this November 18th. From the week of November 18th till November 22nd trading, the positives are I was able to stick to my rule sets and follow all of the guidelines that I have established for myself, meaning every single trade that I took last week had a higher time frame objective, whether that be to rebalance an inefficiency, to retrace back into premium or discount, and for an expansion. Every single one of my trades from last week met that requirement. Even the entry models itself always met the requirements, being displacement and following my breakaway gap theory. And if you guys are wondering what is a higher time frame objective, think of the 4 reasons why prices move: to rebalance to inefficiencies, to retrace back into equilibrium, to generate and take liquidity. So there's 4. Always be thinking of that whenever you're taking a trade. What is the higher time frame doing? Is the time frame that I'm on right now, that I'm using, in confluence with the higher time frame relative to that time frame? So if you're on the 15-minute, you would want to go onto the 1 hour or the 4 hour for like, okay, so are we continuing? Should we be continuing higher on the 4 hour, or are we just simply rebalancing a fair value gap, something like that? Second, treating fair value gaps in accordance to my rules. So this just means that if the fair value gap that I'm using to enter it should be treated as a breakaway gap, then I shouldn't be using it as an entry pattern. But if it could be used as an entry pattern, then you can take it. But yeah, just understanding when and when not to treat, when to treat fair value gaps as a breakaway gap and when to not is very key to, very vital to the way I do things. Third is buying below the open and selling above the open. So this is a power of 3 concept. If you're anticipating a open, low, high close candle, then you want to be a buyer below the open because you're anticipating a up close candle. But vice versa, if you're anticipating for the next candle to be a down closed candle, which is a open high low close, then you want to be selling above the open. Yeah, some of the negatives here is just accepting the fact that there will be times where I'm not going to be present at the charts. So I'm not going to be present for every single opportunity. And looking back on it, it's completely fine for me to miss some opportunities that I wasn't present for. You can't control what you know, if you're there or not. You can only be in control whenever you're there, and you know, if you can make the decision to take a part of the opportunity, right? But yeah, we're about to close here on we're about to close on the candles on the 4-hour and 8-hour candle pretty soon here. We don't have any SMTs here yet at the highs, so I can anticipate for prices to come up and take out this high here. But you can see us retracing back into this 0.3 to 0.2 of this dealing range here. And here we are expanding. We just took out the 4-hour and 8-hour high. So this was actually the 4-hour and 8-hour high right there. So we took it out. We basically completed the morning objective. But yeah, just not being able, I wasn't able to be a part of it, which is fine. Opportunities present itself and it doesn't. In this case, it didn't allow me to be a part of it, which is completely fine. But yeah, there's the weekly open. So now I do want to see if ES or NQ will play catch up. So like, which one is going to take out this high? Will it be NQ or will it be ES? But yeah, finish with the positives and the negatives. Sticking to your rule sets, understanding what entry patterns should be treated as breakaway gaps or just being able to answer off of a fair value gap in general, buying below the open and selling above the open, and accepting the fact that there will be times where I'm not going to be present at the markets. Some improvements here.
Bánh mì còn có mấy nào bạn hết rồi.
Ba lấy.
Mà cho bây giờ ăn này để lại ăn cá cho em.
No, có ăn 2 cái rồi. But yeah, some of the improvements here are I can continue to practice patience and discipline and follow, like I said, the rule sets that I have established for myself. Not forcing a model and just allowing the markets to come to me is a big thing that I've been practicing now. So if there's no model that presents itself during the trading day, then I'm just not going to take any single trade. But if there is, then great, I'm going to take that model, right? Second, requiring a higher time frame objective with every single trade that I take. Like I said, higher time frame objectives is the key for me right now. If I can just execute on models that have a higher time frame objective, I'm going to make a run for it. Like that. Continuing to pay attention to SMT, like I said, there's no SMTs here yet at these highs. So one of these indices will make that high. We'll take out that high. And whether it be NQ or ES, I don't really care. I just know that we are lacking the SMT here at the highs. So I can see higher prices just because there isn't SMTs. But yeah. And just continuing to practice, that complete laser sharp focus on whatever I'm doing, like whether that be trading, whether that be coding, whether that be just anything in general. every single task, I should be giving it my complete all and be, completely focused on it. That's the only way to do things here, to be honest. You can't half-heart and just do things, half-heartedly do things. Now I do want to go over a quote and post it onto my Discord. Just a daily dosage of motivation. I'm super conscious about your secret to happiness. I like that. The secret to happiness, wealth. So notice how ES has taken out the high and NQ hasn't. That's something that I don't want to be a part of anything just yet anymore. I'll let prices do its thing and just be a sideline. Just be on the sidelines, but like I said, the reason being is ES has taken out the high here and NQ has failed to do that. So that means there's SMT now. That means, for all we know, NQ could fail to take this high and just, continue lower. Because there's been SMT. Because there's SMT, prices could do that. But because there wasn't any SMT earlier, I still wanted to see higher prices. But because ES has taken out this high and NQ didn't, this kind of gives me like, okay, if we are going to reverse or not take out this high, it could be now. Like the time is right for us to reverse because there's SMT. But because there wasn't earlier, I was still patiently waiting for one of those indices to take out the high. Or both of the indices to take out the high. If both of them took out the high, that means we are still continuing to see higher prices. Alright, 11. The secret to happiness, wealth, and knowledge isn't lies within. Alright, so there's that. Finished the trade checklist here. Review previous week's trades. So I'll just go over some of the higher time frame objectives for my trades from previous week. On Wednesday, November 20th, 2024, during the PM session, just looking at this, I can base my idea on the fact that we have created this 2-hour fair value gap, right? And notice the way that we created it. And notice this 1 hour candle closure. Or sorry, not 1 hour, but 2-hour candle closure. I can anticipate for the next 2-hour candle to take out the previous 2-hour candle's high. With that being my higher time frame objective, which is to rebalance the 2-hour fair value gap, I'm now going to go onto the lower time frames relative to the 2-hour time frame to find an entry model to basically align the lower time frame model with the higher time frame order flow. So the 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly are also suggesting higher prices. And notice how the 15-minute high, the 30-minute high, and the hourly high are the exact same. So that means because they're the exact same, I can go to a time frame relative to the 15-minute to find an entry pattern. So I could go into the sub 5-minute time frames for an entry pattern because the 15-minute high aligns with the 1-hour high. So now notice how we created this 15-minute fair value gap. It's a breakaway gap, meaning I don't want to see prices trade back into this gap if we're bullish. So I know that prices will not trade back inside this 15-minute fair value gap, right? So I'm gonna go into the 10-minute time frame here. And I've noticed, okay, well, on the 10-minute time frame, we created this 10-minute fair value gap as well. Should prices trade down into this fair value gap to continue higher? The answer is no. I don't want to see prices trade back inside this 10-minute fair value gap because it should be treated as a breakaway gap, meaning it should be left completely open. So on the 5-minute time frame, there is a gap that we create in prices. I want to see prices tap into this 5-minute fair value gap and take out the 15-minute, 30-minute, and hourly high and rebalance the 2-hour fair value gap, leaving this 10-minute fair value gap as a breakaway gap. However, we didn't do that. We came into the 5-minute fair value gap, failed to make a higher high than the 15-minute high. So like I said, I followed my rules to the complete T here. My entry model, my entry pattern was accurately used, and there was a higher time frame objective. The Friday's trading here is, notice how the 8-hour, 6-hour, and 4-hour, they're all suggesting higher prices, right? So this would be known as an expansion model. So the previous one that I just went over, this one on Wednesday, this could be known as a rebalance model. However, the one on Friday, November 22nd, 2024, during the PM session, this could be known as a expansion model, meaning I'm taking my trade here based off the model is based off of the 1-hour power of 3, right? But the higher time frame is based off of the 4-hour, 6-hour, and 8-hour. So, and notice how the hourly high is completely different than the 4-hour and 8-hour high, which is, that's going to be known as an expansion model. So 4-hour, 8-hour suggesting higher prices. This hourly candle here is suggesting that we're going to continue higher. We're going to attack this hourly high. What's the higher time frame objective? This 4-hour and 8-hour high here. So these are the models where you're going to see a lot of move, like a pretty strong move, right? So because I align myself with the 15-minute model here, because the 15-minute aligns with the 30-minute and the hourly, I can find an entry pattern relative to the 15-minute time frame. And there's this 5-minute fair value gap. Bye, Dobby. Oh, okay. Bye, ma. Oh. So we created this 5-minute fair value gap, and should this fair value gap be treated as a breakaway gap? Quick answer is no. So that means I can use this as an entry pattern. On the lower time frames, prices dips into this 5-minute fair value gap and expands away from it, taking out the 15-minute high, and we end up taking out the 4-hour and the 8-hour high as well. Expansion model. One note here is I'm buying below the 4-hour open. That means because I'm anticipating this next 4-hour candle, because notice how this 4-hour candle is bullish, right? I can anticipate the next 4-hour candle to be a up close candle. I can anticipate this high to be taken. So I always want to be a buyer below the open. And the opening price for the 4-hour candle during the morning session is at 10 o'clock. And this is the 10 o'clock open right here. And notice how I'm buying below it. And yeah, that basically summarizes both of the trades that I took last week. I did take 2 trades this current week as well on Wednesday. But yeah, so this one, notice how we created this 2-hour fair value gap. This 2-hour fair value gap could be treated as a gap that gets rebalanced, meaning I want to see prices trade up into it. So that's my higher time frame objective. And notice how there's a higher time frame dealing range as well. And we have yet to retrace back into premium. So there's technically 2 objectives here, higher time frame objectives, which is to rebalance an inefficiency and to retrace back into premium. So now I'm going to look for a trade, right? I'm looking for an entry pattern to target the 15-minute high, 30-minute high, hourly high, and that aligns with the 2-hour time frame, meaning I want to see us rebalance that 2-hour fair value gap. So there's this entry pattern here on the 5-minute time frame, this 5-minute fair value gap. And when prices dips into this 5-minute fair value gap, I take my entry targeting a rebalance of the 2-hour fair value gap and targeting the premium of the dealing range. So on the 1-minute time frame, we kind of consolidate for a good while, to be honest, but we ended up taking out the 15-minute high and rebalancing the 2-hour fair value gap. So that's my first trade this week actually. So this model here is technically, you could call this a rebalance model and a EQ model. The next one, the same day actually, and it's right after this trade, is for us to another rebalance model. And so keep in mind that the reason why the first trade this week was called a rebalance model is because I want us to see prices dig into this 2-hour fair value gap. Well, the next trade is also another rebalance model, but this time, instead of it being on the 2-hour time frame, instead of the higher time frame objective being on the 2-hour time frame, it's on the 30-minute time frame. So we created after we rebalanced the 2-hour fair value gap, right? We created a bearish 30-minute candle. And notice how we created this 30-minute fair value gap. This 30-minute fair value gap is suggesting that we could rebalance it, meaning that we could trade into it. So now with that in mind, I have the idea that, okay, well, we could actually trade back inside this 30-minute fair value gap. So now I'm going to find some sort of entry pattern, a model that suggests that idea, right? I'm aligning the lower time frame model with the higher time frame objective. On the 2-minute time frame here, there's a 2-minute fair value gap. We stab into this 2-minute fair value gap. I take my entry, and we take out that 15-minute, 30-minute low, and we end up rebalancing this 30-minute fair value gap. Very, very simple. I mean, as long as I require a higher time frame objective with every single trade, and as long as my entry pattern meets the criteria, I'm gonna be happy. I mean, that's literally everything that I look for. And yeah, it's very, very, very nice setup. Both of these setups this week has been pretty clean so far. But yeah. And now we are actually expanding quite high here on NQ and ES. ES looks like it's probably going to take out previous day high. Looks like it, but am I going to find an entry pattern to align myself with it is the question. I mean, who knows? Probably not. But yeah, I've basically gone over everything that I did want to go over. The morning objective for me at least has been completed. Yeah, bye man. But yeah, as of right now, I'm just probably just gonna end it for today. And yeah, thank you guys so much.